Hello everyone, Dr. Stillman here, and today we are going to be tackling a really important topic that I love talking about, thinking about, and researching, which is, are vitamin D supplements, or could vitamin D supplements be dangerous? That you can look at the studies on fish consumption, and there's a clear reduction in mortality with fish consumption, and there's not a clear reduction of mortality with vitamin D supplementation. I always tell patients, and vitamin D are one of our top sources of, fish are one of our top sources of vitamin D, depending on the type, depending on how much you eat, et cetera, et cetera. But fish are not just a source of vitamin D. They are a source of omega-3s. They are a source of minerals, particularly iodine and selenium. They're also often high in things like magnesium, potassium, and calcium. So you see, when we look at things from this perspective, we see that the nutrient vitamin D that's in the fish doesn't reduce all-cause mortality, although higher levels are associated with better, reduced mortality and better health, right? When we look at the fish, it clearly reduces mortality. This is why I'm a huge fan of whole foods. And I'm a big critic of people who try to deconstruct the food and use supplements to make up for a bad diet and unhealthy lifestyle. The other point that must be made is that vitamin D levels tend to be a surrogate marker for sun exposure, which is also a surrogate marker for latitude, which is also a surrogate marker for lifestyle. The people who live in dark places and don't go outside very often with their skin exposed at bright UV, high UV times of year or day tend to get sick and stay sick. They're under more workplace stress, etc. Their problem isn't just low vitamin D. They're likely to have low vitamin D because they don't get enough sun. But the minute they go outside and start getting more sun, they're not just getting more UV light. And they're not just getting more vitamin D from UVB. They're getting UVA. They're getting infrared. They're getting visible light. They're outside and they're in the heat and they're on the beach and they're with their friends and they're having fun, or maybe they're having a cookout, or maybe they're paddleboarding. There are all these other factors that make them healthier about getting the sun exposure. And this is why it's so important not to get narrowed in on, should I take a vitamin D supplement? What I recommend that you do is work with somebody like me who's going to look at the whole picture and say, you've really got to get out and get 20 minutes of direct sun with your shirt off in the middle of the day at your job, if that's practical. And you may say, Dr. Stillman, that's a little awkward and weird. I can't make that happen. And I may say, well, in that case, let's get you a Spurty vitamin D lamp. If this video has been helpful to you, make sure that you check out my link tree below to find out how you can keep in touch with me best. And if you would like to become a patient at my practice, please apply to work with me at STILLMANMD.com. Thank you again for watching. Have a great day.